if there is an agent that is doing that, they shouldn't be an agent.
Hi, welcome back to Atlanta Real Estate Pros, where each week we sit down with one of Atlanta's top producing real estate professionals, where we tap into their expertise, experience, and knowledge to bring information that's important to home buyers and home sellers in today's market. So today we're here with expert real estate agent Pam Handler.
Hi,
Pam.
Joe. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. So glad that you're here. So Pam and I have been friends for many, many years, spans the decades that we've been in this business together.
Yep.
And you have a unique set of skills and knowledge. And we're so happy that you're here today to talk about the market.
Thanks, Joe.
So I want to get right into, you said you had a phrase earlier that we talked about. You said the pulse of the market. And I want to jump right into that. You know, the market today is very different than it was just 6 months ago, and even 1 year ago, and even back in the days of COVID. So I want you to just kind of drill down on what's going on in today's market.
So, Joe, the market right now is balanced. We are no longer in that frenzy like we were back in the COVID days, where there were crazy multiple offers, people lining up outside of houses dying to get in. So we're more in a balanced market where buyers have a little bit more leverage now instead of the sellers.
Sellers, had all the control. Like, talk about a little bit about that, what buyers were putting up with during that feeding frenzy time.
Yeah, sellers had all the control. So buyers couldn't put in any contingencies. No inspection contingencies, no financing contingencies, little or no due diligence periods at all, paying $25,000 to $100,000 plus over list price. No negotiating at all, not even on closing dates. The sellers got everything that they wanted. So it was a great time for sellers, but not for the buyers.
Give us an example of what a seller was going through and what buyers experienced during that time.
So I had a listing in Powder Springs. It was in a cul-de-sac. It was an okay house. It was nothing special. Didn't have any great features. She wasn't the prettiest girl on the block, but she was in a cul-de-sac. And when I got there to do an open house, I can't tell you, there were over 100 people sitting in the cul-de-sac, walking around the house, in the yard, waiting for me to open the door. And when I opened the door, it was like one of those sales where the door opens and everybody's running in like crazy people. Well, that's what happened. And I had so many offers. I had over, I think it was Chris and I were counting 59 offers.
Oh my goodness.
And my floor was piled up with offers and we were going through all of them. And I had to sit and talk with the seller about, which one had the best terms. And they were all great. So they ended up closing, I think it was maybe $35,000 over list price.
Wow.
It was a crazy day.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've moved out of that, clearly. The market has shifted out of that frenzy.
Yeah.
And when the market shifts, it's always, once it shifts, it's too late, right? You're always looking back at it, right? You're always thinking, it's going to come. And then all of a sudden, boom, it shifted. And you're like, whoa, what happened? So we moved out of the seller's market almost to a balanced market, or even more of a healthier market, where it's creating more of a win-win situation for buyers and sellers. So talk to us a little bit about what it means now that the pulse is more balanced.
It's definitely more healthy, and it's healthier for buyers. Sellers are not that happy because they feel like they missed the boat. But for buyers, they're winning a little bit more. So buyers have the opportunity to negotiate, and they're able to negotiate on price, closing costs, closing dates, repairs. So they have a little bit more leverage.
sellers are a little bit, they don't like it because they want it to be where they have all the control, and that's just not the case anymore.
Right, and maybe they're not going to get full price offers.
Okay.
Maybe they're going to, a buyer's going to come in at 10,000 under.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things we were talking about earlier is that the pace of the market is, in a balanced market today, houses are selling in about 2 to 4 months, which has taken some getting used to, especially on the seller side.
Sometimes longer.
Sometimes longer. So a good majority of the houses are sitting between 2 and 4 months. But we're also seeing situations where two polar opposites, where the house may still sell in 2 or 3 weeks and there might be more than one offer on it. And then we're seeing the other side of the spectrum where houses are sitting 3, 6, 8, 9, 12 months. So can you just chop that up, take that for us one at a time, and just start with the houses that are still selling very quickly and why that is?
So the homes that are selling quicker, I don't mean in 8 hours. I mean like maybe 2 weeks.
Okay.
Those homes are in great locations, great school districts, walkability, functionality, and they are the prettiest girl on the block. Those are the homes that are going to go under contract quickly.
Okay, so then the next thing, if I'm the buyer, talk to us about if I'm the buyer and I'm in the market and I see the prettiest girl on the block, on the street, and I want that house. Okay, so I know the market's different than it was in the frenzy of COVID, but what can I expect as the buyer if I'm going after the house that's going to sell quickly?
So any buyer needs to be ready, willing, and able to make that offer. So to make that offer, they must be approved by you, of course. They need to know their budget, and they need to know that they might pay a little bit over list if there is another competing bid on the table, and make sure they have enough cash. So I don't want somebody coming back to me in 6 months saying, hey, I paid over list for this house, and now I have buyer's remorse. I don't know if I love this house or not. And the thing is, they have to be committed. Like, you have to know if you're going to pay a little bit over for a home, make this your forever home, or maybe not forever, but at least be in the house for over 5-10 years.
Right. So what we're seeing, that's exactly right, because what we also talked about is a lot of folks who rushed during the frenzy to get in the house. Now it's 3, 4, 5 years later, and they're not that happy with the house.
Maybe some people thought, I can buy this house at, over $25,000, and then I could flip it, and then I can make a lot more money. That's not happening now. They shouldn't have bought it as an investment or a flip. They should have bought it as a home that they are going to be committed to and staying in it for a long period of time.
Exactly. So what I'm hearing is the message to home buyers today that are going after the prettiest house on the block that's going to sell quickly. They need to be prepared with their budget and their mindset that this is going to be a house that they're going to turn into a home. That we're going to live longer term. They're not going to just try to flip it in a week.
Yes.
Okay, that's really good advice. Okay, so now let's talk about the other side of the spectrum. So the homes that are sitting for 3, 6, 12 months. First, I want to get your view from a seller's point of view. So if I'm a seller and my house has been sitting for 9 months, and now I listed it with somebody, not you, and I come to you and I say, oh, Pam, mea culpa, I use somebody else. And
shame on you.
But I need help. What are some of the things you would initially look at to try to move a house that may have been sitting for a while?
Well, first, it's always pricing. Pricing. If you're overpriced, nobody's going to come and look at your house,
right,
and you're not going to get any offers. So you got to look at your pricing, make sure that you're in line with the other homes in the neighborhood. So that's number one, marketing. Your marketing needs to be strong. Online presence, Make sure your pictures are great. No iPhone pictures. Do you know how many houses I see on MLS that were taken with an iPhone? They're horrible. And plus, nobody wants to see an open toilet in a photo. Nobody wants to see clothes all over the floor, towels hanging over the shower. Nobody wants to see that. So if there is an agent that is doing that, they shouldn't be an agent.
So all the Brooklyn's coming out, just be straight talk and
Straight talk, Brooklyn
so Pam,
style.
for our audience out there, Pam and I, what you don't know is that we're from the same area in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Not that we're both from New York City or New York the state or the Northeast. We're from the same neighborhood in Brooklyn.
The best borough in New York.
The best borough.
That's right.
So we tend to speak very, very straightforward.
Yes.
And that has really afforded you a lot of success through the years because people are so undecisive.
Yeah.
And you really do a great job focusing in on what is important in such an important
you.
transaction. So just a
you, Joe.
little plug for my good friend. So
And also, throughout the years living in Brooklyn, Joe and I's paths must have crossed because we went to the same discos.
we're all up in the club.
That's right.
Yeah. No, we're not going to say which ones.
No.
We want to protect the innocent.
Yes, and protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Good thing there wasn't iPhones back then.
I know, right? Seriously. We would have acted a lot differently. Back to real estate in Atlanta, Hotlanta,
Yes.
as we like to call it. Okay, so if I'm the seller and I use somebody else, not you, and my house is sitting, and back to that. So how important is it for staging?
Oh, staging is key. Most buyers don't have vision. They can't walk into a house and see where they're going to put their TV, where the bed is going to fit. Does it fit a king-size bed? They can't see these things. So when you have it professionally staged, or even if the house isn't vacant and it's a homeowner living there, I like to go through with that homeowner and let them know everything really has to look great. Because when a buyer walks in a house and they go, wow, then that's their house. You don't want them walking in and going, like it's so good.
So one of the other phrase you used, which I was the first time I ever heard it, was you talked about the sellers end up in a situation where they chase it to the bottom.
Yes.
And what I think that means is that when you list a house, it comes on the market, and within the first few days or week or so, it has some activity. And then after that, the activity kind of fizzles out a little bit. And I feel as though sometimes the sellers kind of get exhausted from the whole process. So talk a little bit about how we can avoid what that means, chasing it to the bottom, and how do we avoid that?
So when you overprice a home and you don't have any showings, the rule of thumb is if you have 10 showings and no offers, you're priced too high. If you have no showings, you're priced too high. So if you're priced too high and then you start doing reductions, so I would tell somebody, okay, if you want to price it at the top of the market and overprice it, well, then in 2 weeks, we're going to have to come down 10,000. And then if you're not getting any showings then, in another 2 weeks, got to come down another 10,000. So now you're chasing the market all the way down, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting for the sellers. And then buyers are thinking, because buyers are looking on Zillow,
Right.
and they're like, oh, why are they reducing the price so much? What's wrong with that house?
Yeah, so it's from a buyer's perspective. We talk about it. Well, the buyers are looking at it and they're like, well, two things happen. Number one is, oh, they're dropping their price. So it's like they smell blood in the water. And now they think they can get it for a steal.
They're desperate.
Right? They're desperate. So
Yeah.
now you're basically, by chasing it to the bottom, you're attracting low ball offers, which is you're working against yourself.
Right.
And then the other thing is buyers in today's market, I can tell you from the mortgage side, they're taking a very calculated approach with how they're going to spend their dollars. And they look at it and say, well, that's been on the market a long time. There's probably something wrong with it. Why am I going to waste my time going and look at it?
Right.
Which leads me to the next question. I mean, that might not necessarily be true if I'm a buyer in today's market. There's a house that's been listed or sitting for a long time. Should I avoid it or should I go look at it?
No, absolutely don't avoid it.
Okay.
Go look at it because you just never know what the situation could be. You know, maybe the seller wasn't ready to sell at that moment, but they were testing the market. So maybe that's why they wanted to price it a little too high just to test it. Maybe they were under contract at one time and it fell through. So many different reasons. And then again, maybe the house is great, but it looks out onto a heavy street, a heavy traffic street, or it looks out to an apartment building. And it's not, it's not the greatest home, but it has potential. And if that doesn't bother a buyer, but like me, coming from New York, I don't mind having a house that's on a busy street. The noise is comforting to me. So that wouldn't bother me. But some buyers that would bother, but that's always fixed with price.
All right. So what we're hearing, I think, if I may just kind of summarize what nuggets you're giving us, the pulse of the market, it's slowed down, but hasn't stopped.
No.
So wait, but don't wait. If you're a buyer, wait, but don't wait too long. And if you're looking at a house that's been sitting, really you want to use whatever those reasons are as a negotiating point to help you create a win-win.
Yeah.
So can you give us an example of, in today's market, what a win-win looks like?
Sure. So, for instance, I had a seller who was also buying. So they're doing 2 transactions. It's a very stressful moment. It's scary. A buyer comes in and a buyer was able to give the seller the closing date that they needed. And in turn, the seller gave the buyer concessions on what they needed. So, and then they were able to close. The seller was able to close on their house, buy their other house. The buyer was able to get the keys and get the house that they wanted, and everybody was happy. So to me, that's a win-win.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being here. We're going to do this again.
Yes. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
So thank you for watching Atlanta Real Estate Pros. I'm Joe Trovato. Please hit the subscribe button. There's way more content coming your way. And thanks for watching.